My name is Christina Gomez, and I went to Brackenridge High School, and then I went to Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I work at Southwest Research Institute, and I burn things for a living.
My name is Steven Escobedo. I went to school here in San Antonio at John Jay High School and William Howard Taft. I went to University of Texas at San Antonio and graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Electrical Engineering. I'm a research engineer in the space science and engineering.
And the fire testing that we do is on anything and everything, from couches and mattresses to entire walls. And we do this for the safety of people. There's a lot of codes that need to be adhered to in order to ensure that a material or a product is safe for use in the household or in a cruise ship or in a hotel building.
I grew up probably 5 miles from Southwest Research Institute, and I never thought that I would be working here. We used to ride our bikes through the open field, and we would ride our bikes through here and see different things going on and kind of wondered what it was, but never did I think I would be working here or as a scientist or an engineer. I never really knew what I wanted to do. For me, I never thought I could do anything technical. When I went back to school and realized that it was the amount of work that I was willing to put into a subject is when I realized that I could do it and realized that I had a passion for math and science.
Growing up in the part of town that I grew up, I knew that I wanted something better for myself. And with the family history that I have, both my parents are from Mexico and they came to America to better themselves. And I just wanted to continue that tradition from the age of 5 or something. I knew I wanted something better for myself. And I knew that the only way for me personally to get that was to get a better education. It was pretty difficult to figure out what I liked, especially in high school. I seemed to be doing better in English than I was doing in math and science, as far as my grades were concerned. But it's not actually what I like to do. And so I focused more on what I liked to do, even though I wasn't doing the best at it. So I liked math and I liked science, and physics was actually really hard. I took a physics class in high school and it was really tough for me, but I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed writing a paper. And so to me that was more important than trying to do the best in one area. It was what I actually wanted and liked to do. What really led to my decision to become a mechanical engineer was a summer program, coincidentally, at MIT. There were several teams in this course because there was a competition. And so each team had to build its own car to try to win the competition. And my team consisted of 3 people, me and 2 others, and we were all high school students. And so this was our first time, really, most of us dealing with drills and hammers and nails and other things to try to build a vehicle, essentially. We were given wood and metal and 2 motors and a couple of wheels, and we were supposed to build something out of it. And so it was really exciting to try to design that with my team and agree on an idea and then agree on a driver, because everyone wanted to be the driver, and to actually practice it and build it out of scraps to something that worked. And we actually did really well in the competition. I think we got either 1st or 2nd place, but my team of high school students getting 2nd place after we built this machine from scratch was pretty rewarding.
For me in high school, having a social status, being part of a crowd, not necessarily the in crowd, but some type of crowd where people looked at me and kind of thought of me highly, seemed to be like all that was important. And we would skip school and go party somewhere. Besides alcohol, drugs, we would find pretty easily, readily available always at school. Everybody knows that, right? And the thing is, though, when you spend your time partying instead of doing things to prepare yourself in life, you end up having to pay for it later. So, eventually we all grow up. Eventually we have to do something, and if you waste all your time, most likely you're going to end up doing a menial job that you can't stand, for the rest of your life.
When I went to high school, I found at least 2 really good friends who had the same goals that I did. And we weren't really focused on high school, we were focused on the future. And so we all agreed that we were going to college, and we all had a plan to go to college, and we would all study together. So even if you have just 2 friends that you know that you can help, and they can help you to study and stay focused on your high school career and further, I think that would be really helpful. Even though there's hundreds of students in your school, and every one of them has a different idea of what they're doing there at school. And a lot of people are there for fun. But a few of the friends that I have that I know of that just kind of did what they had to get through high schools, C's get degrees, and you get all C's and get your diploma and then do something else for the rest of your life. It's sad to look at now because they're still kind of doing those part-time jobs that they used to do in high school, still living at home with their parents.
Yeah, when I graduated high school, first thing I thought was college, and that's what I did. Again, I was still thinking in the same mindset, not spending any time on my schoolwork. So I would, to me, college was a place to go pick up girls, go to class, sit in class, hopefully not fall asleep, get your homework assignment, and then you're like, okay, I got to do this, but it never got done. So eventually, after missing 2 or 3 homework assignments, I didn't even want to go to class anymore, ended up dropping out, paying for college for nothing. So after 2 semesters of college, I basically was out of luck. I mean, my parents weren't going to pay for that anymore. So if I knew then what I know now, I would be taking every single opportunity to learn about life, but also to advance yourself so that you can be, successful in the future.
I decided that I wanted to shoot for the best and try to go to MIT, which is the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and it's one of the world's best engineering schools. I had that goal to get into MIT and to be an engineer, and that's what made me keep going. And so if you have any sort of goal, I want to be a nurse full-time and help people, then you need to figure out what you have to do and what kind of grades you have to get. Start planning now, because as a freshman is when I decided, and as a freshman then I planned out the rest of my high school classes. One of the biggest problems when I was going to school in high school, and one of the biggest problems now, I'm sure, is that a lot of students, middle school and high school, are having sex, and it's unprotected sex. Things is to have a plan and have a goal. And so you can see, if I do have a baby, what's going to happen to my life and my plan. And I think that is one of the biggest things that will really, really set you back in life. All of a sudden there's another life to take care of, and you may not be ready for it, and your life has to get put on hold. It's just a high-stress situation where you don't have many options.
When I went back to college, I had to do 2 remedial courses. And so I did the 2 remedial courses, and each time I did one, I got a little bit better at it. Whereas before I was totally failing at them, I realize now, or at this point in my life, I realized, okay, well, it's because before I didn't work at all. I wish I would have realized that a whole lot earlier in my life and taken control back when I was in high school.
Aside from setting goals for yourself, it is very important to keep yourself motivated. And that's how I did it, by setting goals. But you can do it any number of ways, and so long as you take that kind of a leadership role in your own life, that you determine what's going to happen, that you make the decisions, and that you follow through.
Back then I remember feeling, I don't know anything, I don't know where to go, nobody's told me anything, so I just kind of was lazy and didn't look into those things. There's all kinds of programs to help kids, look into careers. There's at my old high school, John Jay, there's mentoring programs in science, architecture, engineering, that kids can talk one-on-one with a professional in one of these careers. But probably the main problem with kids is they don't know what they want to do. When I was in high school, the last thing I was thinking is, I want to become an engineer later on in life. Why? Mainly because I thought that was boring. I thought this is, why would I want to do that? But the reality of it is that there's really exciting work, and I'm doing a lot more interesting things almost everybody I know. Yeah, so it was a rough time through high school and through my long college career, but through putting forth the effort, I got here and am now an engineer here at Southwest Research, which is great, very rewarding, and it's great to work in a field, you know, the space science, actually put stuff up into space and be part of that.
I just told myself, just make it to Thanksgiving, just make it to Christmas, just make it to March, just make it to the end. And so every little bit I went got me a little closer to the degree. And on that day of graduation was basically the best day of my life. You know, I had worked so hard and it was such a struggle to try to get there. Especially, it means so much more when it's such a struggle and such a challenge. And it was a big challenge for me to try to get to that point. And so once I got there and once I was walking across the stage with my diploma in my gown and everything, you know, it was sunny and green and it was just beautiful and it was perfect. And it was literally the most rewarding day of my life, the most rewarding feeling I ever had, to have that piece of paper in my hand. After 22 years of hard work, you know, that includes elementary school, middle school, high school, and college, I am finally able to provide myself with a good life. You know, I have a car, I have a house, I have a dog, I have a boyfriend, I have everything I could possibly want right now because I went to college and I got an engineering degree, and that's what worked for me.
You know, also, you know, with that career comes the pay for it and the money. And of course, you know, I love that too, so I'm able to do things outside of my career. I'm able to take vacations, I'm able to buy things for my family, have electronic gadgets, toys, computers, all kinds of stuff, and I'm now able to see the world, you know, on my terms and in a different light.
Right now, it's just a really good time in my life where I'm making money and I have my family and I have a great set of coworkers and friends, and I'm doing what I love, which is engineering.